boys and girls. Welcome to St. Mark's Methodist Church and Children's Moments with Miss Robin. Just the other day, I was taking a walk down by my lake, and I saw a bunch of robins eating holly berries from a bush. Now, my mom always used to tell me, when you see robins, spring is on its way. Yes, I love spring. Spring is such a fantastic time of the year. The earth comes alive, it wakes up. The weather gets warm. The trees start to grow leaves. Beautiful flowers bloom, and the grass turns green. It's time to go outside and enjoy after being locked up in our houses for most of the winter. Now, there are some other signs that spring is on its way. Baseball season, are you ready? And probably not one of my most favorite things, but spring cleaning. And that's what I brought here for you today. You know, as I said, we have been locked up in our houses all winter long. And I don't know about your house, but my house is pretty dusty. Lots of dust under my beds. My closets need to be cleaned out. I need to get out summer clothes. Put my coats away. Get rid of all the germs that have collected in my house all winter. So I brought some of my cleaning supplies to show you. Number one, I have a broom. I have my mop. Yep. I have my vacuum cleaner. Oh. Then, besides the tools that I have for cleaning, wow, I also have my cleaning supplies, like Lysol. We're going to get rid of the germs that are in this house. Bleach. Some wipes, some Windex, some Comet, some Endust, and some Swifters. I am ready to get cleaning. This morning, I want to tell you about a story in the Bible where Jesus did some cleaning. And that story comes from John, the 2nd chapter, verses 14 through 16. Now, it was time for the annual Passover celebration. So Jesus traveled to Jerusalem to go to the temple to celebrate, to worship. When he got there, quite frankly, he couldn't believe his eyes. There in the temple yard were people selling sheep and cattle and doves and all these tables with money changers at it, where the people who were coming to worship would have to change their money and pay the temple taxes. When Jesus saw this, he thought it looked a lot more like a carnival than it did a place to worship God. And it made him very angry. He was so angry, he made a whip out of ropes. And then he used that whip to drive out the cattle and drive out the sheep. And after he drove those out, and all the people that were selling them, he turned around and he flipped over the tables of the money changers, and money just went everywhere. Then he looked at them and he told them, the people that were selling the doves and the money changers, get those doves out of here. Why are you making the house of God look more like a market than a place to worship? Well, Jesus did some real cleaning that day. Just like we spring clean our house. As we think now about Jesus cleansing the temple, we should also think about some other kind of cleaning that needs to be done at this time of year. We are now in the season of Lent. Originally, the word Lent meant springtime, but it's become much more meaningful in our religion than just springtime. Not just spring cleaning and baseball and robins returning and the earth coming back to life, but a time for us to look in ourselves to see if there's anything that we need to clean up there. Because our bodies are also a temple for God. That is where He lives in our heart, our mind, our soul. Now, if our souls and our hearts and our mind are all chaotic and filled with mess like the temple was, we need Jesus to come and do some spring cleaning inside of us as well. I know it's time for me to do some spring cleaning too. Not just in my house, but in my life and inside myself. Will you think about that with me? Let's bow our head and pray. Dear God, help us to remember that we are your temple and that your Spirit lives in us. Help us to keep our lives clean and useful for service to you. Amen. Boys and girls, thank you for joining me for Children's Moments today, and I'll see you next Sunday for another Children's Moments.